Cindy. This is not the first time that Cindy has set up events for me and hosted me and done such a wonderful job. We need the reforms that would make a third party possible. They're the same reforms that would make an independent candidate possible. They are the ballot access limitations, the media and the debates and the funding, all of the power that these two parties have consolidated has got to be busted up. We need independent organizations. And of course the Green Party is one of them that has far and away better positions than the Democratic or Republican parties. The odds are so stacked. Fundamentally, we need activism in between elections. We ought not to have to depend on the goodwill of a single individual when we had a system of government brilliantly constructed to check and balance such tendencies. I think we have to drop our obsession with presidents for good or bad. You know, we can't, this is not a national soap opera or prom king election or voting the bad guy off the island. This is the fate of the world, right? And it's not about who you like or who's more articulate or who you'd rather have a beer with. It just isn't. And to have half the country saying, Mr. President, we want more war, and half the country saying, oh, Mr. President, we don't want any more war. Both of those are equally dangerous, because you're leaving the power of war in the hands of one person. So we have to go to the House of Representatives if we're going to have a chance at imposing our will. And that means electoral challenges like Marcy Winograd's and others. It means lobbying them. And when you lobby them, you can make clear to them that you want them to have more power and explain to them why. It means going after them in the media, building good media. It means going after their funders and taking away their money. And it means direct action. It means being willing to sit in their offices. And you have a press conference outside the Congress member's office the next day, and you honor your heroes, and you send another batch of people in. And you do it again and again, and you disrupt their daily business. You make it hard for them. You know, if they are engaged in mass murder through failing to stop wars, politeness is not my highest concern. And it's hard work to do this, and it's unfair, and we're up against money, and we're up against media, and we're up against party leaders. But we have a lot of advantages we don't always take to heart. For one thing, we're a majority. We who want peace and justice and human rights and civil rights, and what Dr. King, who would have been 81 yesterday, said we needed to do, and stop putting all our money in the military and put it in programs of social uplift, or we were headed for spiritual death. We're a majority. 67% of us want public works projects for jobs. 73% want corporations to pay a better share of taxes. 76% want lower taxes for working people. 80% want a higher minimum wage. 70% want habeas corpus for everybody. 58% want a court warrant before they listen to our telephone. 68% do not think a president should be able to fight terrorism alone without Congress. And on and on and on. 60, 70, 80% on issues where we think we're this little fringe group because our television says so. Where we are a minority is in terms of being active and doing what needs to be done. There, as many of you know who work very hard, you don't have a majority of Americans doing it with you. And yet, there's all kinds of activism that we don't know about because it's not on television, and it's not in the newspapers, and it's left out of the stories. Even the success stories, you hear about the success, but you aren't told there was any activism that created it. You know, when President Obama accepted that Peace Prize and he said, you know, there's so many people more deserving, you're damn right. I know. Yeah. I did say that. You know?